Before I start my presentation, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me as a panelist to this session and to the Americas Symposium 2020. My name is Dilek Fraisl, and I work at the Data Ecosystems for Sustainability program of the International Institute for Applied Systems Analysis based in Austria. I'm also a PhD candidate at the University of Natural Resources and Life Sciences, Vienna, Boku. Today, I was asked to give a presentation about the systematic review that we undertook together with UNEP and many others on the contribution of citizen science data to SDG monitoring. And this slide shows the outline of my presentation. The results of this review are published in Journal Sustainability Science, and you can see the link to this paper on this slide. The aim of our study was to present where exactly citizen science data are already contributing and could contribute to the global SDG indicator framework. This paper provides the first and only comprehensive overview that shows which SDG indicators could be supported by which citizen science initiatives. As part of this research, we looked at the whole SDG indicator framework that included all 244 indicators that time. We also looked at the citizen science initiatives at any scale from global to local to understand the current landscape and how all these initiatives could contribute to SDG monitoring. I would like to mention that this work was undertaken by the European Commission funded We Observe SDGs and Citizen Science Community of Practice that I'm chairing. The aim of this community of practice is to bring together the citizen science practitioners and researchers, UN agencies, national statistical offices, and global data community to demonstrate the value of citizen science for SDG monitoring and implementation. Please feel free to join us if this topic is an interest to you. You can register for this community of practice on our website. First of all, what is citizen science? I'm not sure how familiar you are with the term, but very broadly defined, citizen science is the public participation in scientific research. There is no agreed definition to describe citizen science, but as part of this research, we took an inclusive approach and defined it through three main characteristics that are public participation, voluntary contribution, and knowledge production. The terms such as citizen-generated data, crowdsourcing, volunteer geographic information, participatory research, or many others align with our definition of citizen science. Here on this slide, you see the methodology we used for this research. So we studied the metadata and work plans of all the SDG indicators in detail, and then looked at the citizen science initiatives at any scale that could support the monitoring of these indicators. Then we went through a couple of peer review processes where the authors of the paper reviewed each other's results. This figure shows the results. Yellow boxes here show the indicators that could benefit from citizen science data, and green boxes show the indicators that citizen science data are already contributing to. And gray here means we couldn't identify any alignment with any past or ongoing citizen science initiative. Our results show that citizen science is already contributing to the monitoring of 5 SDG indicators and could contribute to 76. This is about 33% of the whole SDG indicators. And our assessment highlights that the greatest contribution of citizen science data to the SDG indicator framework would be in SDG 15, which is life on land, SDG 11, sustainable cities and communities, SDG 3, good health and well-being, and SDG 6, clean water and sanitation. This also shows that citizen science data have the greatest potential for input to the environmental SDG indicator. Knowing that 68% of the environmental SDG indicators lack data, we are safe to say that citizen science has a great potential to offer. Now I would like to give some examples from citizen science initiatives that are already contributing to or could contribute to the monitoring of some indicators. Litter Intelligence by Sustainable Coastlines, based in New Zealand, is a project that already contributes to the monitoring of an indicator, which is 1411B on marine litter. Datasets produced by Litter Intelligence are informing the national SDG reports of New Zealand. This initiative has been collaborating with the Ministry for the Environment, Stats New Zealand, and the Department of Conservation since the design phase of the program in 2016. And additionally, I would like to mention that the UN Environment, the custodian agency for this indicator, has developed a methodology last year that suggests citizen science approaches for collecting data on marine litter, and included citizen science as a primary source of data for measuring that. Another example is Freshwater Watch. Although an established methodology exists for the indicator 632, that is the proportion of bodies of water with good ambient water quality, the data are not regularly produced as substantial investments in financial and human resources are required for organizing these routine data collection activities. Accordingly, many of the least developed countries do not collect data on water quality, or they have very limited monitoring programs available. Citizen science initiatives such as Freshwater Watch could provide meaningful contributions to the monitoring of this indicator. Freshwater Watch has a global water quality database based on the contributions made by more than 8,000 citizen scientists for more than 2,500 water bodies. There are many other similar programs as well. Another example is a tool or a project developed by EASA. For example, the SDG indicator 152 is about quantifying direct economic losses resulting from a disaster. This means the monetary value of total or partial destruction of physical assets existing in an affected area. Picture Pile for Post-Disaster Assessment is a project where volunteers classify satellite images to identify damaged buildings after a disaster occurs. Picture Pile is a generic and flexible tool for ingesting imagery that can be rapidly classified by volunteers, and these images could be very high-resolution satellite images, images from drones, or geotag photographs. Examples of using Picture Pile for SDG monitoring purposes also include mapping poverty for some indicators under SDG 1, human settlements-related indicators, for example, under SDG 11, or change in the water extent and ecosystem health for SDG 6, and many others, also including deforestation under SDG 15. I could give so many other examples, such as bird monitoring on biodiversity projects and projects about identifying mosquito populations, or projects where people report on areas where they face sexual harassments, and many more. But we don't have so much time here to go through more examples. I would like to mention that we compiled our results and all other projects and examples in the paper, and this could be downloaded as a supplementary material together with the paper. I think it is important to mention that these initiatives, like for any other indicator, are not there to replace the traditional sources of data, but to complement them, of course. Additionally, these initiatives probably need some modification and improvement in their methodologies for their results to be used for SDG monitoring. This could be addressed through working with the national statistical offices and other key stakeholders. Finally, no data source is perfect. They all have their limitations and advantages. So our idea should be, if we want to monitor our progress towards the SDGs more efficiently and in a more cost-effective way, we need to harness the potential of new data sources, such as data from citizen science. On this slide, you see some recommendations from our paper, but actually what I would like to say is, by finishing that, in this presentation, I was focusing on the data contribution of citizen science in terms of SDG monitoring. But citizen science also has a great potential to contribute to the achievement of the SDGs, in addition to their monitoring, by mobilizing action towards them. Thank you for your attention.